Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing someone that I call Mommy to because she's my best friend's mom. Her name is Nancy Chamberlain. Thank you for joining us, Mommy too.
Thank you, Nini.
Oh my God. Wait, something fell. What's that?
Huh?
Something fell. There's like something in the middle of the camera.
Sorry. That was flowers leaning into the camera, I think.
Take your time. Okay. So this lady is amazing. It's funny, I've known Mommy too and Jordan since I was, I think, 4. And I have always looked up to her. She's always been the woman everybody sort of wanted to be like their mom, their friend, their sister. You know what I mean? Like, she's it. I'm going to read her bio. You're going to understand why she's it. Let's go. Mommy too is a distinguished healthcare professional with a rich history of service in both the military and medical field. She graduated from TU School of Nursing and was awarded, Distinguished Reserve Officer Cadet from the ROTC program. Upon graduation, she was Army Nurse Corps as second lieutenant. Amazing. And we're not done yet. She served 8 years in the Army Nurse, if I can talk, Corps, including a tour in the Gulf War during Operation Shield Storm. She achieved the rank of captain, demonstrating her leadership and dedication to her country. And we're not done. After her military service, she transitioned into civilian healthcare, working 20 years, looking like she's 25, as a Cardiac Cath EP nurse at Hahnemann. She then took the role of facility administrator, followed by a position as management consultant. We're not done yet. I mean, this lady is amazing. This is why I call her Mommy too. Currently, she is furthering her education by attending the Nurse Practitioner Program at Purdue. Throughout her career, Mommy too, aka Nancy, has been recognized for her exceptional service and dedication. Her Army awards include Army Achievement Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal. We'll get into it. In addition to her professional accomplishments, Mommy too is also a breast cancer thriver. Her journey through this personal battle has only further demonstrated her resilience and strength. Mommy too is a true testament to the power of dedication, service, and perseverance.
Thank you, Nini. That was great.
Now, tell us how you got into the Army and why did you want to be a nurse? Tell us about that.
I think initially I wanted to be a divorce lawyer, right? Because I thought, okay, easy money, right? When I was a kid, I was like, yeah, easy money. But I thought that's going to be seven years of school. And I really wanted to start something. I wanted to start something right away. So I used to watch the TV show MASH. Remember MASH? And I loved the part where it came on and the nurses were like running to the helicopter. I was like, that is so cool. And like in the OR and how they were just like doing the thing with nothing. And I was just really inspired by that. So I decided I was going to be a nurse, but not just a nurse, an Army nurse. I really wanted to be an Army nurse. And it's funny because at the time it was peacetime. There was no wars happening. And so you could spend your entire military at that point in peacetime. And most people did. And it's funny that I love MASH. I wanted to be part of that. Mm-hmm. And I when I joined, we were in peacetime, but we ended up going to war. Mm-hmm. and I was stationed with the 41st Combat Support Hospital, and we, were in Iraq. We moved into Iraq from Saudi during the Gulf War. I mean, during the ground war, and we kind of just stayed. We put up our hospital. We put up it's a hospital that blew up with air, and it was
Wow.
Meds, Deployable Medical System, that was brand new when we went, and it took us like 2 days to put it up the first time. But by the time we got to the wartime, because we practiced every day, it was like up in an hour. So,
What?
and we participated in that last battle. There was a battle where they had called a truce, and they were the Republican Guard hadn't given up. So we were looking, in the distance, and we're like, what is that? We saw the artillery going back and forth, and it was just like, that's weird. And all of a sudden, you see like, you know, the dust of trucks coming forward through, and all of a sudden it was these. I think we had like 200 to 300 casualties in like an hour. They were just
What?
like nonstop, and mostly Iraqi. But yeah, it was a good experience. I remember thinking, I can't wait till I can look back fondly on this, because it was not easy. It was horrible. It was not fun. Like back then we didn't have TVs or computers, so you didn't speak to people, your family. You wrote them letters, and that's it. It was nothing.
Oh
Um,
my
I
God.
have friends who retired, and one friend who was deployed two more times, like in the post Gulf War,
Mhm,
in the 2000, after 9/11,
mhm.
to Iraq and I think Afghanistan, and she said it was like the first Gulf War was the worst, because we had nothing, nothing. So yeah, it was a good experience. And now I can look back on it and think, man, I know how to take a 7-minute shower, wash hair, condition it, be done. Yep, 7 minutes, because that's what it was. You had a bottle of water to shower with. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So I mean, it kind of helped shape me. It helped me be more efficient and do more with less. So it was a really good experience. But I'm now glad I'm able to say that now. I could not say that for the first probably 10 years
Right.
since I came back, after getting out.
Mhm. Do you feel like it was hard to transition from um, actively being in the military to being a civilian? Was that a hard transition?
Absolutely, because I was an officer. So if I say, we have nurses aides who they're sergeants, they're enlisted people. So if I say, Sergeant so and so, Mr. So and so needs a bath, or can you go give such and such, or can you go check the vital signs or whatever? Yes, ma'am. Like
Yeah.
that's all I knew was yes, ma'am. Right. In the military, I said that I made a mistake of saying that to a nurse's aide. Hey, Mr. So and so in bed 3 needs a bath. So
Mhm.
can you do that? And she was like, do it yourself. I was like, whoa, whoa. It was you know I didn't know how to deal with that. I was just like, wow.
Right.
I got into management pretty soon after. Like I started at Presbyterian Hospital before it was Penn,
Okay.
in their CCU, and then in the coronary care unit, and then I went to Hahnemann because I was just tired of ICU. I was burnt out,
Mhm.
and then I went to the Cardiac Cath Lab. It was so much fun, just fast paced, just move, 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 and got to use my brain a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And after about 8 months there, my boss said, "You know what? I need you to be a manager." So she put me right in charge, and that's where I stayed. I was a manager EP Cath Lab for 20 years, and then IR, and then doing some management consulting. Yep.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
I feel like you've always had leadership skills. Like, do you
Yeah.
even in your childhood you exhibit leadership skills that enabled you to go into the army and then in management?
You know what? It was more like we didn't have anything. And I was just like, yeah, this is not gonna be my life. So I was very intentional about everything. Where I went to school, I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 20 years old, because I was like, ain't no man gonna mess me up. Not happening. So I was going into my senior year, going into my senior year when I finally got my first boyfriend. Because I was just like, that's not happening. So I was very intentional. And I knew once I set that goal, it was like there was nothing could stop me. So yeah, and it was because my family didn't have anything, and I just did not want that life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're the only one in the family to do army to go into the army, so why not
no,
Navy? Why not, an
every
army?
my dad, everybody else was in the army. I had a brother that went into the army and the Navy.
Mhm,
Like, my whole family's been into all branches, but I was the first one. Like there's 52 of us on both sides of the family. My mom's
uh-huh,
side, dad, cousins. I'm the first one to actually get a college degree. Well, the first one. I'm like the youngest one third of them all.
mhm,
Maybe six from the bottom.
uh-huh,
And I'm the first one to get a college degree. I was the only one to be an Army officer.
Ooh.
I was driven. Like, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do no stupid shit. I'm just driven. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Intentional, getting it done. So yeah,
You've always been a leader.
I've been intentional. And so sometimes what that looks like is, leadership. And I, lots of times, so many people, every time I go somewhere, people say to me, literally these words, you act like you own the place, or you act like you've been here for 100 years. And I'm just like, like, I own the space I'm in, right? So where I am, I own it, like it's mine. So if I'm at your house,
Right.
if I say, I have to go to the bathroom, I'm going to the bathroom like I know where it is. If it's not where I think it is, I'm gonna figure it out, right? Like, I'm not somebody who who is a shrinking violet, I think. And I
Right.
think from when I was a kid, I was starving. And I tell the story a lot because my family think I don't talk. Like, when I was a kid, I did not talk at all. Like, so I was about 5 or 6. I sat there quiet, didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. And they'd be like, doesn't she talk? What's wrong with, like, and I was just like, because everybody was always, my family, my sisters and brothers were always getting in trouble. My cousins always, and I was like, those people ain't yelling at me. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
But there was one time I was about 6 or 7 years old and I was starving. We hadn't eaten. We didn't have a whole lot of food at home.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister, honey, was babysitting. And I remember the lady she was babysitting for asked me, do you want something to eat? And I was just like, I just looked at her and she goes, are you hungry? And I couldn't say anything. And she said, are you hungry? I couldn't. I just looked at her like, I would do this.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, well, you don't say anything, you don't get anything to eat. And I was so mad at myself. I was starving. And I said, in that moment, like literally in that moment, I can remember thinking, I'm never going to answer. I'm always going to speak up. I'm never going to not say what I want. And it just clicked. And I don't know, like, how soon after that, but when I'm feeling like I don't have confidence, or if I feel like I don't fit in somewhere, I talk, I start speaking, I start acting like I do, because it was a terrible feeling. Like, you don't get what you want when you don't say it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was a lesson I learned super early. So, yeah, sometimes I talk too much. Like, but
But
yeah.
I love that though. I just, you stand out, like, because you didn't have to go that way. You didn't have to be intentional. Like, you could have continued to be silent, but it could have went a different way. You know what I mean?
Could have, but hunger is a really strong driving force.
Yeah.
And hunger, like physical hunger, like I was starving and we didn't have dinner at home. And it was the only time I was going to eat that night. And that was the driving force. So I think, as a driving force, oh yeah, hunger can't be, it's a physical need, right? So I think if it was like attention or something, maybe not. If it was something that wasn't so strongly physical, that I felt, could feel the pain in my stomach, hunger pain. If it wasn't such a strong feeling of a physical need that wasn't being met, maybe it would have. But I don't think it's possible for that, because it was a physical need that I was demanding that I make myself get met. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. How does that feeling help you be such an amazing mom?
You
So
know what? Sometimes it doesn't, because my daughter is not necessarily, she's not me, right? So she's a lot softer than me. I'm like, what do you want? Set a goal, do it. And she's like, well, I have to feel it. And sometimes we clash because of that. Because I don't have to feel anything. I just need to see it, set a goal, and go. I might hate it. I'm doing it anyway, because it's nothing will stop me from achieving the goal that I set. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So I don't necessarily think that she's that person so much as she's a feeler. Like, she's very intuitive and she has to feel it. I don't. I think feelings are a lie.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
are a lie, and they are choices.
Mm.
So that's how I feel. And
Yeah.
people don't necessarily believe me, agree with that. But
Uh-huh.
if you ever think about going to a movie, you ever go to a movie?
Mhm.
and it's really sad, and you're crying your eyes out. You're like, oh my God. It's the same sadness you feel when you experience something in your real life, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But when you walk out of the movie, you're just like, oh my God, that was so sad. And then you say, yeah, you know what? That's over. I'm done.
Yeah.
And you choose another emotion. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually do that in your real life. People don't necessarily want to do that because they've got to be responsible for it, right? So they choose to live in their sadness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one thing I've kind of discovered about myself is I kind of like the melancholy of a breakup. You know, break up with somebody and go, oh my gosh, I'm never. And so I kind of used to look forward to that. So I would give somebody like, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 months. If I don't see nothing, I'm out.
Right.
Because melancholy was like it was I don't know, it didn't feel good, but I was addicted to it.
Right. Right.
But what I got was when I had a really big breakup, I was so sad. I don't like that feeling
Yeah. I
of
can.
the really sadness and that really like darkness and heaviness. And so every time I've been in that place, I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this tonight at 4 o'clock. I'm done.
Oh
And
wow.
literally it's like flipping a switch. Like you have to, it's a choice to not be there.
Mm.
Sometimes it's very hard for me to deal with people who kind of live there and they have to be there and they have to experience the emotion. I'm just like, knock it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it serves no purpose, and it's actually counterproductive.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's why when I went through the whole cancer thing, I didn't have any complications. I had no nausea. I had no vomiting. I had the worst chemo you could possibly get. I had no complications. And of all the procedures I had and all the chemo I had no complication. I was walking like 3 miles a day during chemo, working full time, like super stressful job. But when I was diagnosed, I was so sad. I was so sad. And then what I noticed in my work, because we took care of very, very sick people,
Mhm.
is like, and I would be so struck by how some people will come in and they've got like a little bitty artery that's clogged and they like die. They have the big one on the table. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He was walking, talking
Right.
fine.
Right.
And then you see some people who are jacked up. They come in there, they got like a half a vessel that's open, but they're just doing their thing.
Mhm.
And how they go into a procedure
Mhm.
struck me as very strange, like very um like it just struck me as like very interesting because you have some people who go in, they're just happy, talking, telling jokes, all kinds of, and not a care in the world. And they come out with a little bitty artery just hanging on by the skin of their chin, and they come out just fine. And you have people with just a little bit of blockage who you think, oh, they'll be fine. And you tell their family, oh, he'll be fine. He'll be out in a minute and they're dead. You know what I mean? And they go in like, oh my God, I'm so worried. I can't. Blah, blah. And it got to the point where, and of course, this wasn't a real research study, but it was my own
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like experiment. Like before somebody would go into a room, into a procedure room, and they were having a procedure, if they were like scared and crying, I'd be like, okay, all right, cry baby here, everybody. Like, what do we got to do to make you feel better? And I'd
Right.
tell stupid jokes and I would do what they, and then not literally not let them go in the room until they smiled.
Wow.
And then think, and I don't know, those people came out okay, right? I didn't do that with everybody because I wasn't always involved because I was a manager.
Right.
I do know that there are some, I've seen a lot of people who go in there thinking, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And you're like, ain't nothing wrong with you. This is a simple procedure. Ain't nothing wrong with you, honey.
Right.
Settle down. And they die.
Mm. So it's
So
like their energy.
it is. It's like, and it's like a choice. It's a choice. They're saying, they're telling the world, the gods, God, the universe, whoever you believe in, I'm going to die. And God's like, oh, is that what you want to do? Sure, no problem. Come on. Like you've got free will, right? I don't know. That's my theory.
Yeah.
But like when I was diagnosed, I could not stop crying. Could not. People would say hi, I'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
right? Because it was a couple weeks before I started doing anything. It was like testing and stuff. And I just realized, oh my God, I'm not starting treatment like this. I cannot do this. So I gave myself a day or two and I was like, okay, here's the thing. So I went to church. I went to like St. Matthias over here, not in, like when they were closed, because I prefer churches when there's nobody in them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I like sat down. I said, I had a conversation. I was like, look at here. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like I was talking to God. I was talking to myself. I was talking to my cells.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, white blood cells, you about to get your butt kicked because we got to send somebody else in here because I didn't do my job in keeping you guys strong. Like totally responsible for me not doing what I had to do to keep myself from being cancer free, right? And just had a conversation. So it's all right. You guys will be back. So just settle down and talk to my red blood cells. Y'all can get your butt kicked. GI system, listen, you might have some vomiting. It's going to be bad. Every part of my body, every cell in my body I had a conversation with and was
Wow.
like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. I went vegan just before I started chemo. I started drinking wheatgrass juice every day, like taking supplements, like just like everything I had to do,
Mhm.
and just kept it. And I told Jordan, and Jordan was so good at this. I told Jordan, I cannot take it when people are coming to my face crying. Like
Yeah.
I deal with this. They need to know don't bring that mess to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
keep it over there.
Yeah.
Get yourself together, then you can come.
Mhm.
And I used to not like how people say F cancer.
Yeah.
I did not allow that. I don't know if you remember, but I was like, nope, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We're
Wow.
not fighting cancer. We're not doing it. I let no negative words in my space,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So, because for me, cancer is like gangster, you know what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
literally sits in her little corner,
Yeah.
those little senescent cells sit in her little corner and wait for the opportune time and then bam, beat your butt,
Yeah.
right? And I let it happen. So I was like, all right, look at here. We can't live in the same body. How
Mhm.
about this? How about you go back to your little corner,
Yeah.
settle down, stay
Mhm.
right there.
Yeah.
We can both live. We'd be all right,
Mhm.
right? I had a conversation with the cancer cells. Like, I get it. Like, I love you too. You're part of my body. You're part of me. Like, every conversation. Somebody said, F cancer. I'm not wearing that t-shirt. I'm not saying those words.
Mhm.
And, somebody said, I used to belong to this Facebook page. It was like women against, fighting cancer.
Uh-huh.
And there is this one drug, I think it's adriamycin. It's red. It looks like blood. And somebody was like, somebody said it's the red devil.
That's what.
And somebody on this said, no, it's not. It's the blood of Jesus. I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
When
Positive.
the nurse said that, I was like, that's not the red devil. Ain't no devils going in this here body. No,
That's
that's the
right.
blood of Jesus. So I'm going to keep it right there.
Yeah.
So anything that had to do with negativity, when my sister and my best friend, my sister and my best friend Jordan all came to every chemo. It was amazing, and I
Yeah.
did not want that. I was like, keep y'all
No.
nobody going nowhere. No, I didn't. Oh, I don't want nobody up in my stuff, but I did let them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eventually, because they just didn't give up.
Mhm.
So it's not like I had a choice. But Jordan, honey, told me a story that Jordan was like, I was in with the doctor. Jordan came out and she was going to come back in or something, or
Mhm.
they were going to come in with her. And she said, and Jordan, you know how Jordan is nice and she's sweet and she's just very proper and she's not mean to anybody. And honey says she bent down, she looked at them both. She goes, dry those tears, cut it out,
Good.
cut that mess out. You will not go in there to see her like that. Stop it. And they were just like,
Mhm.
right. So they got the assignment. Like they didn't. And like, you know how people say, oh my God, I feel so bad for her. That is my biggest pet peeve. Don't
Mm.
need your bad feelings.
Yeah.
Don't nobody need you. That's all about you.
Yeah. You're right.
It's not about the person. It's about you wanting other people to think how empathetic. See how, oh my God, she feels bad for her. She's so empathetic. No, no.
I didn't think about
That
that.
that's not about that other person.
Right.
You want that other person, don't feel bad for her. Send her strength. Send
Mhm.
her support. How can I help you? Or just send her love. Send her just, oh my God, I love that girl.
Yeah.
Period. That's
Yeah.
sending love. Right? Say a prayer for her. Don't give them your daggone bad feelings. Don't nobody need your bad feelings. Keep them to yourself. Or give them. But don't be giving them to people who are already struggling.
That's a
So
good
that
point.
I feel so bad for you. Girl, don't do that mess. No. Keep yourself. No. Don't say that mess to me. You ain't got to pity me. I'm strong.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like you ain't got to worry about me. So it's so I it's a mindset. It's life. Everything is a choice.
Mm.
Everything's a choice. When you worry, it's a choice. There are sometimes when I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And the only way I can control it is saying, I'm gonna do it. Watch this. I'm gonna do it. Like I have to make a choice. Otherwise, I'll be stuck in that
Mm.
crazy anxiety, like that mess that doesn't produce anything.
Right.
You have to let that stuff go and go, okay, here's my plan. And then you focus on your plan, even if you got to look at it on paper.
Right.
Look at your plan and just keep it moving. Otherwise, you're stuck in the emotion of it all. And emotions, that's a terrible neighborhood. I'm not getting stuck in there.
Yeah.
You let your brain rove into the the neighborhood of emotion, you're lost. You're lost forever. And you can't make a decision because you're stuck in that. And there's a chemical reaction that happens when you're in anxiety. The cortisol release, that actually helps cause cancer and diabetes and all kinds of inflammatory problems. So when you're anxious, it's not just an emotional thing, it's a physiologic thing that you're putting your body through. So the only way to do that, take a deep breath and blow out. Every time you blow out, everything in your body has no choice but to relax.
Wow.
That's a relaxing thing. Like your entire body is relaxing. So if you're getting a needle, take a deep breath. When they go to stick you, blow out real hard. You won't even feel it. You know what I mean? Like that's you. It is impossible for you to do anything but relax when you're exhaling, right? So deep breathing and exhaling 10 times actually makes a difference.
Oh my!
It can change.
Nurse Nancy, I mean, she just broke it down.
Yeah.
Mommy too.
You said so.
But how can you take us back to, so you've always been intentional, Army nurse, this, Desert Storm, this, and the moment that you received the news you had breast cancer, what does that do?
So I found out because I actually, I'm a nurse. I didn't have to friggin' mammogram for 8 years because I don't have any risk factors. There's no cancer on either side of my family. Like, why would I do it? What a waste of time. I went to Charleston with my mom because I figured that'd be her last trip because she had Alzheimer's and she was getting worse. And my niece was there with her new baby, and her baby was like 6 months. Baby had a big head, one of them big head, precious little big head babies. And she was sitting on my lap, and the head was too big, and whoosh, she throws her head back and hits me on the boob. And that kid saved my life, by the way. Wow. And she's like one of my favorites, one of my favorite people in the world. Me and Jordan were going to Paris that year, but I decided not to because it's rainy in Paris, and I didn't buy the tickets. I was like, whatever, I'll go to Charleston. Had we gone to Paris, I would never have found it. I'd have been stage 4 anyway. And it hurt really bad, and I was like, that shouldn't hurt like that. And I kept feeling it. I was like, whoa, there's something there. And so that was on the Friday after Thanksgiving. We didn't go home till that Sunday. That Monday, the doctor I worked with got some stuff, like made some calls and got me in sooner to see people at Penn. And so and I was diagnosed, and so on my way back from that doctor's appointment where they did the ultrasound, they did the mammogram, and they're like, it's likely cancer, right? And that was my diagnosis right there. I was in Jersey because I had to go to Jersey to get done because it's the only places that were open.
Right.
Crying my eyes out, and it's pouring down raining. I don't know Jersey roads. They got all those loop-de-loops and doopy-doops, and I didn't know where I was. I was so scared, and I was like, okay. So I pulled over to the side of the road, pouring down raining, couldn't see in front of me, and my friend Susan called me. And while I was in Charleston, I was reading Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And I thought the whole time I was there, I was like, I want to meet that lady. That lady is so inspirational. I love that lady. Of course, she's a Capricorn. She just had a birthday too. She called me and she goes, hey, Nance, I got some tickets to see Michelle Obama. I was like in that moment, it was devastating. But in that moment, like for 12 seconds, I thought, oh my God, everything's going to be okay. Because Michelle Obama is like, she's Mrs. Hope. Remember the audacity of hope? Mrs. Hope. So I have pictures of me and her there, like taking pictures with, the background of Michelle Obama. But like, I knew in that moment right there. Now, there were times after that where I was just like, oh my God, here it comes. I got to do this. I got to do it. And I had all this stuff you got to do. It was really, really tough. But like, that's the first time that I thought, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And it was literally a choice right then. And then moving forward, I had to make that choice again and again, and then have a plan so that it's not just making a choice and just like willy-nilly. I had a plan. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is what's going to happen. And literally, it happened exactly how I said it was going to happen. I was like, I'm not getting sick. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting sick. I'm going to be fine. I'm not getting the nausea. It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to go to work and blah, blah, blah.
And you did. You still went to work.
Every day. I had off on Thursdays because I had chemo, but And I really wanted to go back to work after chemo, but they were like, that's not a good idea. I caught the flu once, I think after I think it was like my 5th week or something. I had the flu, and my white count was really, really low. And they were like, "You're gonna have to go to the hospital." I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not. I'll go home." And I was in bed from Friday from Wednesday to Saturday.
Okay.
And let me tell you something about chemo. My face, the melasma cleared up, cleared up, cleared. I was like, "What is going on here?" Melasma cleared up. You have the dark patches under your arm,
Uh-huh.
gone. No pit funk. Oh, let me tell you something. I was in the bed from Wednesday I know it's TMI, Wednesday to Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, you know what? I think I feel good enough to get out of bed.
Mhm.
I got out of bed. I was like, what? At first, before I got up, I was like, whoa, I haven't showered.
Yeah.
So, put my head under the cover. I was like, whoa, I got no stink, no funk whatsoever. Pits, nothing. I was like, this is cool. But chemo, listen, chemo killed. I didn't have pit funk for 3 years after I finished chemo.
What?
And it was just my left arm. My right arm didn't get it for another year. Now it's back, so I need deodorant.
Only you can find the humor in this. Like,
It's funny. Girl, so if anybody out there that ever need chemo, just know you ain't gonna have no pit funk for a while. You're gonna save some money on some deodorant. Your face is gonna be clear. All the dark spots gone. Nothing. You're gonna be all right. Popcorn and potato chips. Be all right.
and she's a comedian too, as you guys can hear.
Look at.
How many years has it been since your diagnosis?
It'll be 6 years since my last. So I had to take something called a Herceptin inhibitor. So I finished chemo, but when they did the surgery, they saw some little cells. So they're like, you know what, you got to stay on this other thing for another 6 months. So February 16th is 6 years. It's been 5 years, so typically that means I'm good. But it'll be 6 years since that hormone therapy, which kind of blocks off your estrogen, is finished, and that'll be February 16th. So it's like my last kind of last thing.
Wow.
Right.
How does it feel to be on the other side of it? How do you
It's like it never even happened. And to my oncologist, she's like, no, it did, and it was tough, and don't take that away from yourself.
right.
I was like, I don't remember it as horrible. I don't remember that. I don't. My sister came over every day. We had fun. There was some really good stuff that happened during this time. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my God. It was none of that. None ever. After the first week. I mean, first week or so, yes, maybe 10 days, because that's how long it took me to really get it together.
Yeah.
And I was going to work and all that stuff, but and I didn't know how bad, whatever. So I had to get it together. But probably my chemo started I think it was January 8th or something. My birthday's January 12th. But before chemo started, by January 2nd, I was good. I was straight. It was no biggie. It was a biggie, but I wasn't freaking out anymore. So that whole year, it was a whole year of straight hell, things I had to do. The only thing I remember is surgery, going into surgery. It was the scariest thing ever for me.
Really?
And I
Why
don't
is
know.
that?
I mean, I guess it's a big surgery. Of course I know why, but
Mhm.
Jordan, my eyes were like this. It was so weird. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, turn on. I did not be scare them, my family, Jordan and Honey and Carol. And I just was so scared. I had a dream the night before that I saw the OR, and I ran. And I ran to the airport and got on the plane. I was like, that's what's going to happen. So I told so anesthesia, they come in and they talk to you before you go in. They say, just to do an interview and make sure you're okay. Look at here. Let me tell you something. If I see that OR room, I'm out of here. I'm the F out of here. You should know this, because I'm not coming back. I'm going on a plane. I'm going to an island, and we're just going to let what happens. I'm not coming back. So you need to know that. He said, okay, everybody come in. He got the OR team, the nurses, the techs, the other anesthesia guy. And he said, we need to do our first time out right here. So all of them came into my room, and they do what's called the timeout, where they make sure it's the right person, right procedure, right side, right everything. You know what I mean? And they said, tell me we did the timeout right there, and then they could give me some sedation. But they gave me sedation. I said, okay. He gave me sedation in the room, and they said, okay, let's go. And they wheeled me out. I swear, they wheeled me out into the recovery room. Before I turned the corner to go to the hall to the OR, black. The next thing, recovery room.
Oh my gosh.
It was a nurse at Penn who was, oh my God, to this day, I love her. She was a sister. And she was with me, and she says, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm your nurse right now. You just had this. And she was talking to me, and some resident like ripped the curtain open, and she turned around like, get out. Like, who are you and what do you want? I'm the resident. She'd be like, back up. I'll tell you when you can come in. Not right now. Get out.
Awesome.
Close the curtain again. I turned around. I was like, I love you. I want to hire you. Are you happy with your job? Please come work for me. I love you. That's a nurse's. That's a nurse.
Yes.
Like, I was like, I love you. You're the best. But yeah, it like, there was no other side of it. It's just, it happened. It's over. And like, I'm not even, it's like a dream. It's like it never even happened, honestly.
Yeah. How do you teach others that are listening, that are watching this, to get through the storm, to get through the emotion? Like, how are you able to, and how can you teach others to get through it? Because it's hard.
It's not hard, Nia. That's a story.
Okay.
So if you just say, okay, what do you want? Right? If you want to live it, if you want to be dramatic, that's fine. Be dramatic, cry, have your emotional outbursts, whatever, do it. That's fine. Some people need that. And I like to be dramatic sometimes, but drama doesn't work. The only thing that works is making a plan. If you have a goal, achieving that goal. But you got to make a plan to get there. And you hear sometimes people saying, oh, God will take care of it. God ain't doing nothing. He is not a micromanager. You got to do the work. God will help. Right? You are not. You there? They think that God is going to do the work for them. It's not the case. Like, you can lean on God and say, hey, listen, I need your help. I need this. But you got to set in place a plan with a goal. And if you're going to achieve that goal, the things that you have to do and take actions. And if you're sad, you can choose another emotion. Easy. Like, watch something funny or say, I've said a prayer before, like, oh my God, take this feeling away from me. And I swear to God, before that prayer is done, I feel nothing. Like, oh wait. And I'm like, but okay. So I was sad, and I try to reproduce the sadness, and I can't. It's like freaking magic. Seriously. So if you really want to lean on God, just say, take this feeling of hopelessness again from it, and keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it. Right. And until it's like, eventually you're going to say it, and it's going to be like, I'm not hopeless. Why am I saying that? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing, but you have to decide. You have to make a choice. It's not a decision. It's a choice, right? Where do you want to be? What is that gaining? What do you gain from being where you are?
Right.
If it's not working for you, then you have to do something else. You can stay there and be where you are. You can stay on the same road, but you know what they say, doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result is insanity. So you can live in your insanity if you want to. But I can't stand that feeling. I don't like being non-productive. I need to be productive. I need to be doing something, and like doing something else, or, constantly moving, doing something. So like, make a choice. Just choose who you want to be, where you want to be, how to get there, and take the actions. You got to take actions. If it's emotional, choose another emotion. Choose one that will serve you, that will not stop you. The sadness, the anxiety, that stops you. That's nothing for your life, but keeps you in this teeny tiny little and it keeps you living small. Want to live like an extraordinary life, you got to do the things that you're not comfortable with. You've heard that before. Everybody's heard that before. And it's absolutely true. Once you do the things that make you uncomfortable, eventually they become less uncomfortable. And then you do bigger things and bigger things and bigger things. And eventually it's like you'll walk into a place like you own it, right? Because there's nothing I can't do right now. There's nothing. I can go anywhere. I can be with billionaires and I will be perfectly fine. They will think I own it too. Like so make a choice, take an action. That's all there is to do. Get out of your head. That is all.
You need to be a motivational speaker.
Huh?
You need to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah. I mean, I've coached some people. Not everybody's really open to it. They're like, no, it's not. Emotions are real. Okay, you go ahead and do that. You let them be real in your life. I'm not gonna do that because emotions are tear you up.
Yeah.
Hey up. Yeah. And they're not real. They're made up. And you can tell they're made up because when you watch movies, the very same emotions come on. The very oh my God. The same scary feelings, the same chemicals are released when you're watching a movie as when somebody's got a gun in your head. You know what I mean? Same. Your brain don't know the difference. So fool your brain. Tell your brain you're happy. Your brain is trying to keep you in survival. And all there is to do in survival is look for, the bears coming to hunt you. There are no more bears. It's a lie. Stop believing it. Just keep moving. Make a choice. Take an action. Settle down. Stop listening to crap out here and stop being inauthentic. Stop acting like you have to feel a certain way because it looks a certain way. There's a looking good that people have, like they can't express things this way because it makes me look crazy. If that's who you are, be crazy. Because you look less crazy when you actually being yourself than when you're being somebody else. So knock it off.
That's so true.
Be authentic. Take an action. Stop worrying about other people and go about your business. That's all.
You heard it from Mommy Two, Nancy Chamberlain. That's what she said. She dropped the mic. Mommy Two, what's next for you? I mean,
traveling. I want to travel. I got to finish this program soon, hopefully very soon. And like traveling. And traveling to I just traveling. I like being in different places. So even traveling as a nurse practitioner, doing travel assignments kind of stuff, just going somewhere where I can make a difference for a little bit and then leaving. Because what I found is eventually people get tired of hearing that and they just want to live in their stuff. So
understood.
I do my best work at the beginning and leave them with it, because if I got to be there, be like, stop, enough, you done. They're like, they stop wanting to hear it. People don't want to hear that all the time. They just don't, because they want to live in their crap. And I have no patience for it. I'd be like, I'm out.
Oh, you are literally.
But let me tell you something. You've inspired me, Nia. When you finished your school, I was like, you know what? I have been playing around with this master's program for 5 years, since 1998, 27 years. And I was like, you know what? If she could do it, I'll be goddamn. Let me do it. I'm gonna do. So you did inspire me, because I've been doing a class here, a class there, and I would get to the clinical part and then just be like, forget it, I don't want to do it. But you inspired me. So I mean, I might just do a PhD. Who knows? I ain't paying for it. Somebody got to pay. Yeah.
But that's what I was saying in the beginning, because I'm not going to cry. But like, I just remember me and Jordan, we've said Jordan a million times. That's Mommy Two's daughter, aka my best friend, going to Hahnemann. And I remember, I think you had to watch us, but you got called in for something. So we went into your office, and I remember we're playing Barbies, and I remember somebody coming in, Nancy, we need this. And you go out there, and then you come back, and then you're doing this, and it was just like, this is what like a boss does. And then like you're driving us to South Carolina, and then you're doing this, and then you're taking care of business, and you're taking care of Olivia, and the family always like just revered you. And it's just like, and then I was just thinking about this the other day. You were in your early 30s, and I'm like, I'm in my early 30s, and I'm doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Superwoman.
Y'all spoiled. Y'all some spoiled children. Let me tell you something. It ain't no joke. Listen, us Gen Xers, and I'm at the beginning of Gen X. Like, I'm the old Gen X, right? But it's the same thing. Like our parents ain't do jack poo poo for us. Nothing. They ain't feed us, my family. Right. So you guys y'all were just babied.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just like, get it done because you got to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. I had no choice. Who else was here? Nobody else was here. Who was going to do it? Who?
Yeah.
Who? I was helping my family. Do you know what I mean? Grammy would come over and help with you guys. But like, she helped me that way. But like I was being called on to help my sister to buy her house. We bought that duplex so she'd have place. Like it was only me in the entire family. And I was doing this with Jordan. I was determined to give her a good life, like determined. And we're going to have fun. I must have fun.
Yeah.
I am not. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, stuff's got to get done. You just put your head down and do it. And I think your generation, bunch of Nancy Pantses. Bunch of Nancy Pantses. Like settle down. Handle just shut up and move on. Stop you talking so much. Just keep it moving.
Just do it.
Just freaking do it. Oh my God. It's like everything is a production and it ain't that deep. If you got something to do, just do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. I didn't even think about it. And I never thought that being a single parent was hard. But as I look back, I'm like, wow, how did I do that? Like, living, I had, the house here, and then I moved to Lower Merion to have the apartment. So Jordan could go switch schools. And I look back like, wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty gangster. Yeah, it was pretty gangster. But that's what happens when you just got stuff to do and you don't take no for an answer. You just have to be intentional. You have to just know what you want, get what you want, and just like not whine about it. Yeah. Well, you can as long as you're in action. Keep whining if you want, but be in action.
Right.
And have people who can say, "Shut up, you're whining. Move on." I didn't have that, but I wish.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with like-minded people. If you got friends who ain't worth a crap, guess what? You got nothing to live up to. Yeah. But if you have friends who are up to something, you want to be them. You're not gonna be the broke one in the family, in the group. You're gonna be the one that's like, I'm handling my stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So you gotta go be with people who are where you want to be. Choose those people. You know what I mean? Or if there's an attitude you want or a way you want to, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all about money or about education or about whatever. If that's the person you want, I love how she's like that. I'll be just like that. You know what I mean? Pick something. If there's a way of being that you like, see how that person's doing it and do it. Yeah. Like, you just got to choose it. It's just a choice. It's all a choice. Yeah. Yeah. Hard for people to believe that. They want to live in their crap, and it's just, I can't. And I can't be with people like that. I'll give it to them and give it to them and give it to them and just like, yeah, you know what, I can't. Done.
But you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't give too much because then you end up, giving everything. And it's so much work. Like when you got to work so much in a relationship, that means they're taking and you're giving. Not working. It should be easy. If it's like, oh my God, they're calling, I'm never answering the phone for somebody like that. It's not happening. Or if I do, I'll be like, what do you want? Right. People got to be responsible for their own choices and their own emotions and their own everything. And if you constantly jumping in there because you want to be, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that because it's not helping. It doesn't help. People will constantly because you give it and they'll constantly take it. And there's a problem. And then you resent it. You're like, but I gave so much. Don't be giving so much if you don't want to. Yeah. How many times? I've said that time. Oh my God, I gave her so much. Well, you know what? That was stupid. That was dumb. I should have said, you know what? I can't. I have a problem with no. Right? I want to give. I want to help everybody. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I got to be like, I'm good.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it is. And I am like, if I start helping, if you need my help, I am the balls to the wall girl. You can be like, I've had enough help because I'll be like, boom, like, I will fix it.
She will. She will.
And I got to remember, like, a little bit of help is okay, but it's hard for me to stop and pull back. because I want to fix it, because I know exactly what you need. I know how to get there. Just listen to me. Follow me. I'm the infantry. Don't do that. You get shot first. So that's all. Just, protect yourself. But it's not, I hate when people say, I have to take care of me. That's just, shut up. I hate when people say that. I hate it. I have to take care of me. And there is something to be said about taking care of you, but you ain't got to announce it to people. Like, those people don't give as much as they think they do. They're giving because they want attention for it. You know what I mean? I have to take care of myself. It's me. I deserve it. Girl, don't. I deserve it. Do you? You must not, because if you gotta say that, you don't. What is under that? What's not sure. No.
Point.
I can't take it. I can't. And I'd appreciate if people say stuff like that to me. Like, I appreciate it. I know sometimes it's a little tough, but I would rather somebody say, yeah, you know what, Nancy, that's crap. I don't really believe that. What's really there? Do you know what I mean? Because then I go, oh, wait. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how you help people. That's how you help people grow and evolve and step out of their normal, is you challenge them. They don't always like it.
Yeah. It's because you have to look at yourself deep down. It's uncomfortable.
I don't want to do that mess. People want to do that. It's ugly in there. It's ugly in there, Nia. If somebody else told you the stuff that you say about yourself, you'd be wanting to fight them. Mm-hmm. But yet we still say those things, don't we?
That's true.
We do. And we got to be able, like, I always say, oh my God, Nancy, slow down. Because I'm always like moving so fast and messing something up. And I'm just like, oh my God, what an idiot. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not an idiot. You're fine. You're good. I'll be like, effing Nancy. And I'm like, no, not effing Nancy. You're a great Nancy. You just want to get something done. It's okay. Like, I got to talk myself down off that. I'm so stupid. No, I'm not so stupid. You are freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. You're brilliant. Don't you dare me like that. Like, I'll be having those conversations with myself in my car. Yeah. Because it's important that you do. Yeah. And I'm very self-deprecating, right? And I got to remember that. And when I'm oh my God, look at me, I'm falling. I'm such a klutz. People say, oh, I'm being a klutz like you. Ain't being a klutz like me. You're being a klutz like you. Yeah. Oh, no. Don't project that on me. I can say what I say about me. But my point is, when you say stuff like that, people jump on it. And they own it for you. They will give it to you. Yeah. And they will assign it to you. Even when you don't feel it anymore, they will know it. They will. It's a way for them. Your best friends, the people you love, will do that mess to you, and you're just like, no.
You can't. Yeah.
You can't do it. You got to make sure that you say the things that you want people to, say to you, to yourself, because people get it. I hate when somebody's, look, this is a Nancy thing. No, that's not a Nancy thing. That's a you thing. You just did it. I ain't do it to you. Don't be mean. That. That's true. It to me. Yeah, I can't stand that. Oh my God, I want to punch people when they do that. And it happens because I'm self-deprecating, right? So I've learned to have to like calm down with that. Sure. But people who've been around a long time still say those things. Mm-hmm. And I don't think so. Yeah. They're like, I don't know what it is, but I am so sad because such and such. That don't make no sense. Why are you sad because somebody else is doing some stuff? Like, it don't make no sense to me. Like, it's very easy. And people get so offended when I call them, because it's like, that's really not about you. Mm-hmm. About you wanting to look good and wanting people to think how empathetic you are and how wonderful you are, because you feel what? What are you feeling? You're not feeling anything. You're making some crap up to look a certain way, and it's not authentic. So shut up. Like, stop. Ew. Yeah. Just right. I can't sometimes. And sometimes I'm a little too forward with it, because I'll be like, no. Yeah. They don't want to hear it. Like, don't. I'm like, what? Don't say that shit. Don't say that to me. Don't do it. Yeah. But it's hard for some people to take. Sometimes I'm a lot.
Well, because you're a lot, because you want the best for people.
I honestly,
you know what I mean?
I think people are awesome. Yeah. First time I meet people, I love them. I love them. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. I love you. And then they do some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like you a lot. And they're just like, here, look at, we ain't doing this. But it takes a lot to get me there. Like I am always trying to like get people to be like their best. I love it. Like as a manager, I would do that all the time. And like people are like, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Are you kidding me? I did it. You can do it. Let's do it together. You know what I mean? Like I would put together really super simple in services so they can get really technical stuff
I love it.
and like show them how I did it. And eventually they're just like, oh yeah, look at that. You know what I mean? Like I love developing people, but you gotta want to be developed and you gotta want to like
Yeah.
do that work. Sometimes it's like I've coached some people and like there are people to this day who are like, oh my God, you saved my life. I can't believe like you saved my life. You saved my business. You've saved my budget because it was those things like, I don't know why people treat me like this because you sitting up here whining. What? I want to treat you like that. What you think? What do you talk about? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and when you like put it to them and it's coming from love. I'm not like doing it because it makes me feel good. It's just like that's stupid. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like sometimes it's to hear it, but sometimes you can see when people are like, oh,
Yeah.
like you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the coachable ones.
Yeah.
But the other times when they just yell back and fuss back, you just like go ahead and handle your business, but you stupid.
Right.
They
They
right
don't
now,
want to check themselves. They don't want to do the work.
I'm gonna tell you how that's gonna go because I can see it right now. And it will go well. You're gonna be right here doing the same thing over and over because nothing's changed. And it's all here. It's all here. This is so powerful. Do you know Jordan and I will go to the game, the Sixers game, and we will make that team win. We do stuff and we will be like, okay, here's what's going to happen. They're going to go down on the other end. We're going to get a block. We're going to get the ball and we're going to take it back and we're going to hit a three. And like in between, it's like with those games that are really tight. And the exact same thing will happen so many times at Sixers games. And then I do this thing, Nia, where they're taking a shot, like the other team takes a shot and I say, no. And when I tell you 70% of the time they don't make that shot, it's up to 100%. But between 70 and 100%, they don't make that shot. But I got to do it at the right moment. I got to have the right energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every single shot. I have to get the energy and I've got to like, I feel like it's me. I feel like
It is
it's me.
you.
I think it is. I think it is. It is. I mean, literally, Jordan and I will say, this is what's going to happen. They're going to block the shot. They're going to miss the shot. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to rebound. We're going to get it down court. We're going to make a three. We're going to make a three. Somebody's going to make a three. Make a three. Like, and we have to be very specific. And we'll just do that. Like, we'll just sit there and watch the game, like holding each other. And we're all there every time we're like, oh my God. But sometimes if we get too caught up in like the and like the happiness of it, we don't continue on. So that could happen and then go back to the other team does something else because we're not staying with it.
Right.
And the rest of the Sixers fans, they just don't get it. They're just they so weak. They so weak. They weak. They weak. I don't know what to say. That's our secret.
I love how you're sharing your secret just in life.
Yeah, well,
so being intentional, not emotions. Erase it. Set a goal. I mean, everything that you have done in your life, you're giving for everybody else to live their best life.
Exactly. People don't understand that you can not be sad just by choosing. And I used to do this when I was younger, a lot younger, because I'd be like, yeah, I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of being sad. Okay. And I'd be like, wow, that was crazy. It was just a switch. And I used to think I have a switch in my head. I'd be like, I have a switch where I can turn off emotion. You know what that switch is? Choice.
Wow. Yes.
Because you live there and you're like, but this doesn't feel good anymore. Like I've outlived its usefulness. Like now it's like not poor me anymore. I don't feel like doing it anymore. What do you want to do? I'll do something else. Okay. And literally it's that simple. So, I mean, you can't even, you got to just do it. There's nothing to teach. It's just like, you got to know that you have it. Like it's here. It's just a choice. Turn it off. And like, state what you want. What do you want? You know what I mean? Say what you want. And if you don't know, the universe is going to give you what, kind of comes your way. That's how life is. Things happen to you or you make things happen. So
Correct.
you can choose. And most of the time things happen to you
Yeah.
until you get intentional. And it's not always a bad thing.
Mhm.
You can be intentional about everything, but when you wake up in the morning, make an intention for your day.
Mhm.
When we had really, really complex cases, procedures, and I'd be like, oh my God, okay, we got to make sure I have CT surgery there. And like, it was all kinds of stuff we had to have: CT surgery, anesthesia, doctors had to be there, equipment. And it was so many things. And I'd be like, okay, if that staff don't have it, it's going to be me that gets the butt kicking. So I was like, okay, so what can I do? So I would sit in my car and look across the parking lot in Hahnemann. I'd be on the 7th floor looking into the 7th floor, and I'd be picturing the EP lab, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go in. It's going to be, the ESI is going to be there. The laser's going to be there. And that's going to be, we're going to change it. Okay, anesthesia, there's no problem with anesthesia. If this happens, it's going to happen. I'm going to have the blade. I'm going to have the saw, because we were having to saw people's chests open to get to, the mistakes or whatever. And it was like, I'm going to have to saw the blade. I know how to make, if I put the battery in, I can turn the saw on and put the blade in. Okay, it works. I got to put the battery. I would literally go in okay, put the battery, unwrap it, put the battery in, put the saw in, turn it on, turn the lock off. Okay, it works. Put it down. Then I'm going to open this and like whenever I did that,
Mhm.
the procedure went fine. No problems. It went exactly how I intended it. If you have a bad day or something you're really nervous about, if you're super intentional about doing it, and when I say be super intentional, I mean, think about the steps of it. Do it in your brain before you go in. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in some like nice cleansing love and light. Breathe out like anxiety and darkness or whatever it is you call it or whatever. Breathing in the breath of Christ. Breathe out devil, whatever it is, right? Breathe in the universe. Breathe out hell. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm telling you, you clear your breath and clear your mind so that your head is right there. Day is going the way you say. It goes the way you say.
Yeah.
And you can say, it's not going any other way. It's going to go the way I say right here today. And I promise you it's going to happen if you're intentional. It happens. It's happened to me so many times. I can't even tell you.
I love that.
Can't even tell you. So I got some other stuff I got some stuff that is weighing on my mind now that I'm having a hard time being intentional with, but I'm getting there. It takes me a minute. You know what I mean? And of course I got to have that, because what I told my friend is I'm addicted to being angry, right? People piss me off because for whatever reason, but that's what spurs me into action, right? So I use anger to like ignite my passion for change. And I need to be able to access that passion for change without getting angry, because that can put people off, right? Because not everybody's an MRFer. Not everybody wants to be an MRF, a stupid MRFer. You stupid blankety blank. I can't
Right.
get out of my, what? You don't know. Move, I'll do it myself. You're an idiot. Nobody wants to be that, right? It can be like, here, let me help you with that. You don't know how to do this? Let me show you. Instead of, you're an idiot. I showed you 3 times already. Get out of the way. You don't deserve to be here. You're dumb. Like you,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, like I have to be able, and there is probably an emotion that everyone is addicted to. So what is the thing that you go to?
Yeah.
Do you go to sadness? Do you go to depression or anxiety? I go to anger,
Yeah.
because I know when I'm angry, I have to get angry to like make big changes. I got to be incensed about something. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then bam, things get changed, right?
Yeah.
But I'm addicted to anger.
Yeah.
I'll punch somebody. Like that's how I discovered this. I was like, I will punch that man, and I want to punch him in the throat. Punch him in the throat. And I would literally picture punching somebody in the throat and them going. I was like, that's not good. That can't be good. That can't be good. I mean, I'm a gun owner. I can't be doing that.
Yes, exactly.
I'll be like, nah, it's not good.
I'm a comedian though, but I have to say your advice is spot on. Like there's been times, even recently, where I'm like, I'm sad, and then I remember we've had a conversation like months ago. I don't even remember, and you're like, Nia, emotions aren't real, and I remember be like, all right, Nia, get out of it. But like it's funny, like with that, and I probably should have picked that up with like how just being around you, but like that advice was like, All right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, choose something else. It's not, if it doesn't serve you anymore, choose it. Sometimes you just need to be in your crap and be like, poor me. Sometimes you need that. You know what I mean? Everybody needs it. I do it sometimes. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? You're good. I'm good. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Nance. And then, take dramatic Nancy and sit her over there because she ain't doing nothing. She ain't making no money for you. She ain't doing nothing for you, but pulling you down. So if you go, you know what, Nancy, I'm going to sit you right here. Next time I need you, I'll call you. But for now, we got things to do. So, yeah, I mean, it's, it's emotions. When I learned that, excuse me, for the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? They're not real. Of course they're real. I'm feeling it. What you're feeling is real.
Yeah.
The emotion itself is made up in your brain. Make up another. So you get else that actually feels good or actually has you take a different action, Like those sad emotions have you take actions consistent with being sad. Eating ice cream, laying in bed, thinking about the same thing, not doing anything. But when you're happy or when you're feeling something else, like feeling, I don't know, not sad, whatever's love, if you're feeling loved, or if you say, and you can fake it, you can be like, if it's hard for you to access happiness, just be like, think of the happiest time you've ever worked. The happiest thing, the happiest time, a moment in time when you were super happy. And you can, to access that happiness, you can actually think of the moment. It's not good to think in the past, to live in the past, but if you think of a moment where you were super happy and how it made you feel, if you can feel that, access that feeling, that's your happiness. So that's how you go from sad to happy. You access that happiness and then you just go about your business. Right. And then you've got it. And it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm happy. You will feel those same emotions. So you got to figure out a way to access other emotions other than you can access sad just like that. So funny you can't access happy like that, isn't it? We haven't flexed those muscles. We haven't worked it like that. We all want to be sadder. Just so boring. That's so boring, Nia. I can't. You ain't SHIT when that's all you can do.
She is, everybody, isn't she hilarious? But you're so right. But you're hilarious too. And this is what, because I know when people listen to it, Mommy too, they're going to be like, I need her on my panel. I need her as a motivational speaker. I need her to teach my nurses. I need her. Can you give them your email or something, Mommy too? Because they're going to be like, I need her.
You know what? I don't know. My email got 18,000 email. Okay. Tell them to contact you and you can give me, because you put something in my email, it's gone.
You heard her. When you want Mommy to, just contact me.
You know people like that. I don't know.
I'll disseminate the information because she needs to be on everything. With everything you just said, you need to be on Good Morning America.
I wish I could be. I could be. Could be. Yes, indeed. Come on now. You're so silly.
I'm so
Ain't nobody trying to hear that mess. Ain't nobody trying to hear it. I'm telling you. One-on-one, yes. But groups of people, they don't want to hear that mess. I'm telling you, there's too many people who will shoot that mess down. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, what's your degree in? It ain't a degree in nothing. Just shut up. Like, shut up. You ain't got to worry about a daggone thing. Just shut up. It's a degree in shut up. How's that?
You are hilarious. You're right, but you're hilarious. Listen, everybody. Army vet, amazing nurse, and we already know nurses do it all. I said a long time ago, there's no way I want to be a nurse because it's too much work.
It's too much work to be anything, but yeah.
Woo! Amazing mom, great sister, great daughter. I mean, this lady is amazing mentor.
You're so sweet.
Getting ready to get her nurse practitioner degree, traveler. Like she said, contact me, and then y'all can have Nancy Chamberlain.
Do, but there's nothing else to do. You can always just give my phone number or whatever. But I'm giving you an assignment. You don't need to do that assignment. You understand that. You don't need to be.
And I am, because
you can just give them, huh?
Because your words need to be all over somebody's side. I got it.
Child, you crazy. You're so funny. You're so funny, Nini. Thank you, darling. Like I said, you inspired me to finish this degree because I was like, you know what, I'm too old. I don't want to do this. And I was like, you know what? I don't like to leave things undone. So, and I have been the last couple of times trying to finish this up. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's go.
Yeah, I
Let's
love
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I learned from you.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you. And you're like just getting it done. Right.
Learn it since 4, learn that from you. And it's not so much of what you said, it's just seeing you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's action. It's action, right? Can't do nothing. We can't do anything without like taking an action. One step at a time.
Yeah. You heard it from Mommy too, aka Nancy Chamberlain, on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I'm your host, Nia Imani. And
Oh,
thank
that's
you so
sweet.
much, Mommy too.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.